A shrimp can punch with the force of a bullet. A day on Venus is longer than its year. And Scotland's national animal is the unicorn. I hadn't made up a single one of those when I said them, and I still haven't. Welcome to the channel, because today we are going 8 rounds with reality. 8 documented, verified, look-it-up facts that your brain is going to flatly refuse to accept. Every single one of these has been checked. Every single one of these is real. Let's see how many you already knew. Okay, first one. The mantis shrimp, which, by the way, is neither a mantis nor a shrimp, but we'll set that aside, can strike its prey at speeds up to 23 meters per second. That's roughly 50 miles an hour. The strike is so fast that it superheats the water around it, briefly producing a flash of light and a shockwave, a phenomenon called cavitation. The strike itself hits with a peak force of around 1,500 newtons. To put that in context, researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, published findings in the journal Science in 2012, documenting how the dactyl club, the part of the limb it strikes with, is built from a helicoidal fiber structure so sophisticated that materials scientists are actively trying to replicate it for military body armor and helmets. A creature smaller than your hand is hitting things with the biomechanical profile of a firearm, and it breaks aquarium glass regularly enough that marine biologists have a documented protocol for housing them. This isn't folklore. Here's one that physically bothered me when I first looked it up. A single day on Venus, meaning one full rotation on its axis, takes approximately 243 Earth days to complete. A Venusian year, meaning one full orbit around the Sun, takes only about 225 Earth days. That means on Venus, a day is longer than a year. You complete a trip around the Sun before you finished a single rotation. NASA's planetary fact sheets, maintained by the Goddard Space Flight Center, confirm these figures. But it gets stranger. Venus rotates backwards compared to most planets in the solar system. Retrograde rotation. Which means if you were standing on Venus and could somehow see through its thick sulfuric acid cloud cover, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east. Every piece of that is documented. Every piece of that sounds like someone made it up to win an argument at a dinner party. Scotland's national animal is the unicorn. Not the red deer, not the golden eagle, the unicorn. This isn't a recent joke or a tourism board gimmick. The unicorn has appeared in Scottish heraldry since the 12th century. Associated historically with the reign of William I of Scotland, and it is formally represented on the Royal Coat of Arms of Scotland, the version used by Scottish institutions today. The Royal Collection Trust, which maintains the official records of British royal heraldry, documents this directly. The reasoning historically was that the unicorn was considered in medieval heraldry to be the natural enemy of the lion, which represents England, making it a pointed and very deliberate national symbol. Scotland did not pick a unicorn by accident. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. I want you to sit with that for a second. Teaching has been recorded at Oxford since 1096 AD. The university expanded significantly after 1167, when Henry II banned English students from studying at the University of Paris. The Aztec Empire, meanwhile, is conventionally dated to 1428 AD, when the Triple Alliance of Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopan was formed. Oxford's own historical records, maintained by the university itself and corroborated by the Encyclopaedia Britannica, place the institution's origins at least 3 centuries before that. We tend to picture Oxford as old, and the Aztecs as ancient, but Oxford was a functioning institution of higher learning for over 300 years before the Aztec Empire existed. That comparison isn't rhetorical. The math just works out that way. Here is one that consistently makes people openly call me a liar. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the moon landing than she did to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid was completed around 2560 BCE. Cleopatra was born around 69 BCE. That's roughly 2,491 years after the pyramid was built. The moon landing was 1969 CE. Cleopatra died in 30 BCE, meaning she is separated from the moon landing by about 1999 years. The Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of Natural History has referenced this temporal framing in public education materials, and the underlying dates are documented by Egyptologists, including those publishing through the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology. The pyramid is genuinely that old. This isn't word games, it's arithmetic applied to verified historical dates, and the result is that Cleopatra is, temporally, closer to us than to the world that built the monument she lived near. Counterintuitive dorni is a species of jellyfish that is, under the right conditions, biologically capable of reverting to its juvenile polyp state after reaching sexual maturity, and then maturing again, potentially repeating the cycle indefinitely. This process, called transdifferentiation, involves the organism's cells literally converting from one type to another, effectively running the biological clock backward. This was first described scientifically by researchers Ferdinando Boero and colleagues in the 1990s, and has been documented in peer-reviewed literature, including a paper by Shin Kubota, published in the journal Biogeography in 2011, which described Turritopsis dorni as potentially biologically immortal. That word, immortal, is used carefully by the researchers themselves, because there is no known upper limit to how many times this cycle can repeat in a controlled environment. The jellyfish doesn't live forever in the way a film villain is immortal. It dies of disease, injury, or predation like anything else. But from purely senescent aging, no recorded limit. It just rewinds. That's in the literature. 8 facts, all real, all verified. If that blew your mind, there's genuinely a lot more where that came from. Hit subscribe and ring the bell, because we do this every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next.